Hello guys, I'm gonna talk a bit about draw my life. The person that inspired to do me is yeah. So a team inspired me to do this because if you have something like a burden on your shoulder, you want to release it. The best way is to talk about it. So I'm gonna talk about it. So at age of 5, 6, and 7, uh, it was like a tough life for me because I was born, not raised, but born in Antwerp and moved out to birth. But at 5, 6, I lived in Holland. My mom stayed. My mom stayed in Belgium. So me and my sister, we moved with my dad to Holland. I really had a rough and a tough time there because my my father and mother weren't like in sync with each other anymore. My father was like going with other girls and cheating on my mom and stuff. Although my mom kept on one part loving him, but so I guess there was a hate on my father. A lot of people will try to do something like on one night there was like a guy coming with a bat and smashed all the windows from our doors and stuff. So I was really scared that night. But my father was like tired of it. So what he tried to do is he he sealed all the doors, so nobody could come into the door or through the windows. But he forgot this door. He forgot that door. You know, if that door was closed, he was finished. He was so dead. He was finished. But he tried to overdose himself. He sat on a chair taking pills. He tried to overdose himself. But his mother just came in when he was about to get knocked away. So his mother just came and pressured him on the stomach and everything came out. So I saw all the pills lying on the floor. I really saw it all lying on the floor. But it was really tough. It was really tough. So this year's was really tough life. I almost lost my dad. My parents like got separated. It was really tough. I mean, my sister was always one that made friends. I was always alone. I was like the kid was always alone. I was always alone. So after that, when my father realized I can't stay anymore in Holland, so at the age of 8, 9, and 10, we moved back to Belgium, and my mother and father came together again. Although my mother was a part of like uh, putting money aside. Instead of my father was like investing it into drinks. So that was really a rough time as well. And when I got, I guess 8 to 9, I had the toughest moment of my life. I had the toughest moment of my life. My 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 dad and mom went often go to a party or drinking whatever, and we had a babysitter. a babysitter, a guy. So that guy that babysit us all the time. It's really emotional. That guy that babysit all the time. He took some nuded pictures of us. We didn't know what to do. He had like more power, so we did what he asked to do. But we never dare to tell our parents. And you know why? Because when you have kids at age 7, 8, and you tell something to your parents about what he did, your parents always will like, you're talking shit and he will come over us like, don't listen to your kids or don't listen to that. So we never talked about it. We waited like 5 years, but then he was already dead. And my father was like, if I knew, but he gave right to us. He was like, it's, yeah, you're true. If you said it, we probably wouldn't believe it. But he said, if I knew and I saw it, I will kill the motherfucker. But he was already dead. He had an accident with a car. So my dad was always spending money. My mom was always saving money. So my dad had a lot of guilds. A lot of people owed money, like the car that he needs to fix. So my mother paid it. Did. So my mother paid a lot of to my dad what she spent it. She borrowed it. But although all the problems in the family, I had one friend at that time. One friend. I had one friend. He had a PS1. A PS1. That's when I started coming into gaming a bit. He had PS1 and he had one game called Tekken. I became rather good at the game. I became really good at the game, but I wanted to be more with them than my parents that always like argues and like being in trouble and stuff. I more wanted to be with them because I could be myself, I could play the game. So yeah, but at but yeah, after that all, my mother decided to be a part of my father. Like, it's over, it's done. I had enough. So I followed my mother, and my sister followed my dad. My dad had like, my mother was like giving to me. Like, she would give food, she would make food, but my sister was like, that's when she came like all by herself. My father didn't care, like, now I'm gonna cook or now, he didn't care at all. So my sister was like more, she got the rougher race than I did. I had my mother was always like, here boy, here boy. I didn't got too much because my mother was like a housewife, only cleaning for somebody, but didn't earn too much. But although my mother made me very happy, what she did, she bought me the PS1 that I really wanted. So I was so happy. I played like days and nights on that fucking thing, and only with one game, Tekken. So yeah, I became really good. Even friends nowadays are scared when they need to play Tekken with me. They want to because I had a, you know, when you play with your friends, when you play with your friends Tekken, and you're like, oh, here's the couch, here's the TV, and like, here's a friend, here's a friend, here's a friend, here's a friend, that's me, that's me. That will call be me. Huh? So that will called be me. All right. So Let's start. This guy started with the controller and I started with the controller. At point when we had a point when if you lose, you hand over the controller. So what happened? He loses, he gets a controller. I win. He loses, he gets a controller. I win. He loses, he gets a controller. I win. And he, but at a point, I was so tired of only playing and beating them up. I gave my controller sometimes away, or let them win. They could sue. They said, "Oh my God, you let me win. Why did you do that?" I was like, "Oh my God, I'm tired of only holding the damn thing all the time, you know." But one friend, he practiced so hard. Hey, my cousin like that. He practiced so hard to beat me. He had a friend also that had a game Tekken, and he played day in day out day in. And he said, "Why you play so much?" And he said, "I really need to beat my cousin." So that's when the part when I was young, when my mother, Tekken really was. You have always like a game that you grew up and you become rather good with it, you know. So that was my life of part one, I guess. My life of part one. So I grew up with Tekken at the part. I had a lot of dramatic scenes. This is the age of like already 19, 20 plus. So I will talk about it later also. But I grew up with Tekken. I got eventually Tekken, and yeah, I had a difficult life in the past. So I really hope that Tekken would have changed. That actually gaming did change my life. Gaming did change my life. It made me in a positive vibe. You know, I became happy when I won. When every time I won of my friends, I became happy because I was like, I can do something that you can't. Although you can do anything else that I can't, you know, it's typical. But I had a rough start with my dad, with what I went through. I met a friend that had Tekken, so I asked my mother like plenty of times, like, buy the game, please, please buy the game. You'll make me so happy. So yeah, that's how I went into gaming, and I will tell you more about the next video. Alright? See you. Oh yeah, and anything goes from this video, the half of it I will be, if it's a success this video, and if you want to see more, half of this video I will put through a team, because he really inspired me to do this. See you bros.